One of the biggest issues with emotional intelligence is somewhat what y'all been saying, but the biggest issue, in my opinion, is it's not necessarily how you're expressing yourself. It's not about what you're saying and doing out in the world. It's about what you're receiving and refusing to receive. See, it's about boundaries. And the reason why I talk about how women are just letting any dude nut in them and all this dumb shit and having all these random babies by different dudes or whatever, because they're not discerning who they're accepting into their lives. So a woman can be articulate and be able to have an argument and talk over a man and talk fast. That's not emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is what you are stopping from getting into your space, which is setting boundaries. One of the biggest problems women have in their lives is not setting boundaries. Going back to the condom thing, so many women want a man to wear a condom, but she people pleases so much where she doesn't say, hey, stop, wear a condom. That one thing alone can stop her from having a baby. But does she do that? Does she say that? No. Why? Because of her lack of emotional intelligence. So she can overtalk, outtalk, and all this other shit and say cool words and big words, but she won't stop that man from wearing a goddamn condom. And now she's a single mother simply because of her lack of emotional intelligence. Learn how to set boundaries. That is exactly what therapy is for. Not about how to articulate your feelings, but how to articulate your boundaries.
I like that.
There is actually different facets of therapy though. There is like grief therapy, there is like anxiety therapy, there is other facets of therapy, trauma therapy. It can be a tool to actually digest your feelings. Like it actually can be. Along the way, you learn the boundaries, but it's so many different sectors of therapy, family therapy, child therapy, individual therapy. There are some therapists that solely specialize in women and solely specialize in men. So I think again, it really depends on what you need. But one thing that people should never forget, regardless if you're going as a family or a couple, it is for you. You are supposed to take something from it and implement and utilize those tools so that you can become emotionally intelligent to put your boundaries where they should be in place.
This is why I think it's important for excuse me, couples to go to premarital counseling because they give you exercises. Most I know a Christian premarital counselor where they give you books, they give you exercise where you have to work together. You have to do those things. You have to be involved and engaged. When you go by yourself, if you don't have an accountability partner or if you don't have that, you become a little bit detached and you may slide back into the things that you were doing or you might get a little lax. I saw somebody put physical therapy in the chat and physical therapists like they do those exercises and strategies and things like that with you while you're there, right? But when they're not in front of you, you should be doing those things, per their pace at home. And it's always easier when you have someone to do it with or you have someone to help you out. And the issue with emotional intelligence is that you'll have two people in a relationship. One person may go to therapy, the other person may not. And like Paris was saying, how women may hold that over a man's head. And not to say that he can't go or he won't go, but it is more, you do get a collective experience when you do engage in that together. And of course, before that, I do believe you should do some type of self investment before you do a couple's investment because you have to know who you are and what you need and what you require and what you're lacking. So I do believe in that. But doing that together when you're in a relationship, instead of holding it over that person's head, have them join in with you. Of course, you don't want to force it. You can't force anyone to do anything. But at the same time, when you're in a relationship, things can become redundant. And if you're in it for the long haul. So you have to make things fun. You have to make things exciting. And you have to renew your mind about some things as well. So I just wanted to add that.
So no, I was gonna ask a question. I never actually been to therapy. What I did was I picked up a hobby. I started painting. And I always kind of been introspective. So I believe that I was able to kind of like work through some things myself to get from point A to point B. But I do have a question because some of the things when I talk to people that have been in therapy, I don't know where, maybe the gods just gave me the information, but I kind of utilize some of those tools. But I'm curious, are there any tools for anybody that's been to therapy that they would be like, this is the one that really helped me on the
Yeah.
panel if anybody has been?
I would say intention. Like when I went to therapy, they made me write down my intentions for coming to therapy. So I didn't have the space to say I'm just coming here because people get on my nerve and I wanted to blame people, because some therapists will take your money just to listen to you complain without actually giving you solution. So I had to write intention. Like I intentionally want to come here to heal myself so that I could show up better for my family and for my friends. And because I was held accountable to keep that mission and that vision when I was in therapy, it allowed me to really exercise what I was learning, as opposed to just going there, sitting there and complaining and then going home and repeating the same behaviors. So my therapist was intention, remembering why I'm here.
As you guys know, I've shared this. I'm currently in therapy. And I also had to do that. There was a profile that the therapist made me write out, like kind of to get a little bit more introspective. For one, I did find the type of therapy that I needed. So I'm seeing a specialist for what I specifically need, which was three different things. I won't go into them, but it was for three different things. And I have a male therapist. And I also found that for him, he intentionally listens and he gives me feedback. But the homework that he provided for me was to every day find time to make for myself. So that's something that I have to do now, even with him knowing about my relationship, even with him knowing about my mom and my dad and stuff like that. I still have a duty. Like that's one of the tools that he provided to me. Like you need to every single day. You invest too much into people. You invest too much into other things. Another thing that he always encourages: leave your phone. So it's I found for me, it's tailored to what you need. And I know a lot of times we will gravitate and get those books and we'll go get, things that other people may do. Meditation and journaling is like a common therapy tactic. It's very common. Yoga, meditation, journaling, very common. But honestly, you have to find what does right for you, because I'm not a person that can sit still. I don't do that. I don't do well with just sitting still. I'm very active. And in days where I do feel relaxed is the days where I'm taking my daily walk. So even before I got here, I took a walk. Like I walk every single day. And it's just me and my dog. Like that's a part of my day. Nobody disrupts it. Nobody can call me. Nobody can reach me. That is the time for me and myself. But I think, Marcus, if you found something that gave you an outlet, it was healthy and it'll allow you to process whenever you're going through something, stick with that, because most therapists will tell you you have to start finding with things that you like and you start there. Even my previous therapist was a Black woman. And that's what she told me. She was like, if you like being active, go be active. I'm not going to tell you to sit down and write and journal, because that doesn't work for you.